Two Kettle Falls men are seeking what they believe to be justice after a September 2013 shooting involving a national parks ranger. They have filed a lawsuit claiming those rangers used excessive force. KXLY4's Caiti Currey working for you. She was in Kettle Falls where the two men walked her through their account of what happened.
Nadine, initial reports said the National Park Service ranger fired his gun after his partner was shoved from a gangplank into the water. The ranger heard pops that sounded like gunfire, but Mike SUBLIE and Casey Hardinger say they've spent a lot of time and money working to prove those claims are false. Now, after the charges against them were dropped, they're speaking out.
Used to spend a lot of time on the river, and it's just not the same.
Mike SUBLIE and Casey Hardinger haven't been back to these campgrounds since September 14th, 2013, when Mike took Casey, his two kids, and parents out for one last boat trip of the summer.
Initially, it was just a family day. We ended up just swimming and playing all day.
Just after 10 p.m., the group pulled up to the campgrounds, where they were approached by two park rangers who said their music was in violation of mandated quiet hours that began at 10.
It was a 13-year-old actually listening to Miley Cyrus.
Complying with all of the ranger's requests, Mike says it escalated when he asked the ranger not to stand on his boat because his shoes were muddy.
He looked up at me and said he would stand on my boat anytime he wanted to.
Mike says during the argument that followed, the ranger reached up and grabbed his arm. As Mike pulled his arm away, he was pepper sprayed.
And I covered my eyes and bent down like this. And at that time, I just heard a pop. Then the glass breaking of the front door was another pop, and then a gunshot almost simultaneously.
Casey says this is exactly where he was standing when he was shot in the side, with his son right behind him. To this day, it's hard for him to talk about it.
I can't, man.
Their last 2 years have been filled with anger and resentment. Mike spent $25,000 in legal fees fighting two misdemeanors, a noise violation and assaulting a federal officer. He was cleared of the charges after a 3-day trial ended with a hung jury.
It's going to change all of our lives, and it's never really going to be what it used to be.
Now, that houseboat hasn't even been in the water for 2 years. It sat in a lot that Mike owns. Now, combined, the men as well as Casey's two children are seeking around $6 million through the suit. The Parks Department has not responded to the suit. Reporting live in studio tonight, Caiti Currey, KXLY4 News.